All right. Welcome to Bucketphoria. It is a basketball podcast presented by Mafia Sports Report and Sports Dynasty. Let's get right into it. We have had a all-time level first round in these NBA playoffs so far. It's been amazing. It's so good I haven't missed any games, and it's more than likely going to conclude today with arguably the best series in the whole playoffs with the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings, as well as the Lakers at home facing the Memphis Grizzlies. You having fun so far, Alex?
Oh, I'm having a great time, honestly. And it's in some of these series that I'm watching, I'm like, okay, good, because I'm not a fan of that team. like if you're anybody in the Kings and Warriors series, because I know that is taking years off your life right now, or if you're just a certain team that was the number one seed, they got both the 5 games to an 8 seed.
Oh my gosh. And I'm glad you said that. We could just start right off with that series.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Okay. So the number one seed Milwaukee Bucks, the team with the best record in the league, gets bumped by the 8 seed Miami Heat that looked like they had no chance in hell of beating them. And I shared this on my page on Facebook, and it was like, this is We Believe all over again.
Yeah, I saw that post, and it's very it felt very similar to We Believe. That was an amazing series, and we thought they had no chance even without Giannis. We thought the Bucks should handle this team easily. I'm sure we was aware of Jimmy Butler, like we have respect for him, but I just did not foresee him playing like this. Like, of course, I know he's done this before, but this just felt so different. This just felt like he ascended to another level that I just didn't think he had.
Right, and it's crazy because it's like we both aware Jimmy Butler's one of the better players in this league, especially in come playoff time. There's a reason why we say playoff Jimmy. There's a reason why we call it that. We're aware of how much he elevates his game come playoff time, but it's so insane how in Game 4, when Milwaukee was controlling the whole entire game, came back from down, was down 13, I think, from Game 4.
Double digits for sure, yeah.
It came back and put up the 4th highest point total in playoff history, tied with Charles Barkley. And in Game 5, down by 16, puts up another 40-piece, pushes a ridiculous shot to go to overtime, and pretty much snatches the hearts of the Milwaukee crowd. And a team that looked like, we're gonna go to the finals. We're gonna make things right for not having Chris Middleton last year. Gets bumped by an 8 seed that was struggling to beat the Bulls.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. This is a team that was struggling to beat the Bulls. This team limped to the playoffs, and Jimmy Butler just was unstoppable, man. And I would like to remind everyone that, this was the Milwaukee Bucks. There is no favorable matchup against this team. Everyone is a all NBA defensive level kind of player in their starting lineup. I mean, he was scoring on Giannis, he was scoring on Drew, he was scoring on Brook Lopez in the paint, who was pretty much just swatting everyone else. But when it came to Jimmy Butler, it just seemed like there was no answer for him. And couple years back is when he started really doing this, and when the birth of playoff Jimmy started arriving, I kind of felt like maybe this guy is a superstar in this league. And with what he did today, I just truly believe this guy is a superstar. I just think when it's just crazy how when the playoffs arrive, it doesn't matter who's in front of him. His mere existence gives him a chance. This was such an imbalanced matchup in the 1 seed compared to the 8. I mean, they literally won this because of Jimmy Butler. It is ridiculous what he did. And I just feel like, I guess against anyone, there's a shot with him being there. It's just crazy, man.
It is crazy. And I do got to shout out a few players for the Heat that did play well. Because at the end of the day, Jimmy Butler did what he did, but Gabe Vincent in that Game 5 was really good. Bantu in that Game 5 actually performed really well, got 20-point triple-double. Game 1, they shot hella efficiently from the 3-point line. I think shot like 60% from 3 in that first game.
Yeah.
And then they just beat the hell out of them. And Game 4 was like, I don't know if it was like the pregame was like Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Jordan was like the main game it was at.
I'd like to point out in Game 4, one notable player I will point out is Cody Martin in the fourth quarter. He did help a lot on in Jimmy Butler's case.
Right.
Yeah, he had a phenomenal fourth.
But the role players actually stepped up for a team that was struggling from 3 in this series. Not in the series, in the regular season, rather. Shot well from 3 this time and looked more like the Heat we saw last year. Not to the complete form, but they looked more similar to that as opposed to the AC Heat we've seen this year.
Yeah, they look more like a contending team instead of a team that's just going to see their way out in the first round easily.
Right. And now we talk about this. Credit to the Heat, they'll be moving on. They'll be moving on to the second round, and we'll talk about the other team they'll be facing later. But Milwaukee, man. It's insane because I don't know if they didn't see this coming, obviously, because who in their right mind did. But
no one.
Yeah. It's one of those situations that's like, okay, Chris Middleton, he has a player option in his contract. He's obviously going to take that because $40 million. He's not getting 40 M's anywhere else. Brook Lopez on the last year of his contract. And you got Drew Holiday, who, like, despite how good of a defender he was getting torched by Jimmy. And it's like, where do you go from here? And hell, even Giannis underperformed to me in those 2 games as well. Yeah, you can say he had 39. You can say he got 39-20 all you want, but like down the stretch in games, you blew a 16-point lead. You what's it called? Shot horrible from the free throw line in that game, and when they was trying to foul you, I think it was a 1-point game. It was a 1-point game at the time when that happened. He literally just threw the ball to nothing, and Chris Middleton had to save it, leading to Drew Holiday Game 5 and splitting the free throws, which was probably going to happen if Giannis shot the free throws anyway.
Yeah, he almost threw the series away in that jump ball. He almost threw the series away.
Right, and then you got Grayson Allen pulling a J.R. Smith and J.R. Smith / Magic Johnson in 1984, and not realizing time right now. Next thing you know, they lost the game. So Mike Budenholzer, he's like one of the people I want to talk about first. It's like Mike Budenholzer he's going to get saved for the fact that he won a ring 2 years ago. Strictly because of that. Because this series, oh my goodness, this was one of the worst coach series I've seen in my life.
Yeah, it is.
This was bad.
Yeah, it's one of the worst coaches.
It's crazy because it's like, even in that final play when Grayson Allen did a Euro step with like no time left, they had 2 timeouts. Why didn't they use one?
It was just a complete, utter choke job by Mike Budenholzer. The worst performance I've ever seen him have in a playoff series. why? I don't know why they never doubled Jimmy. I just don't understand. I would have, if I was in his position, I would have lost. You know what? Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, these guys gonna have to make their shots, man. Because you have a player who is literally unstoppable. And he didn't double him. He didn't double him out. He let him constantly play single coverage. I don't understand why. I don't know if he had too much pride in their defensive prowess in this team, but how you don't double a player who looks unguardable?
Yeah, at that point, especially in that game 4 too, because no one else, for recollection, did anything of note in.
No one. Game 4 was all Jimmy. He scored 56 points
in that game. So if there was a game you could have gotten away with doubling him, it was that one. His best game.
Then the inbound, the game 5, the inbound play to force overtime. How is Giannis not on Jimmy Butler, or how is Brook Lopez not in the paint?
Oh, I don't think Brook Lopez was on the floor at all in the play.
Why? That inbound play was complete utter choke job. Giannis got to be on Jimmy Butler there, just strictly off the sides, just because he's a big guy. Why was Drew Holiday? Come on, Drew Holiday's gonna shoot right over him, man. He's an amazing defender. He's an amazing defender, but he kept the ball high. He kept the ball high and shot right over him. Complete choke job by Mike Budenholzer.
You got that. At the end of the day, Drew Holiday is like 4 inches shorter than him.
Yeah.
So great of a defender that he is, that's gonna happen. And there's another thing that I wanted to make note of too, because also for one, the trade deadline move to get Jay Crowder, that went out the window because he didn't play much for some reason, or even at all.
And I wonder why.
And the Bucks bench too, they're not safe. They sucked this series.
Was the only player who played good off their bench was Joe Ingles? Probably just Joe Ingles, who've been battling injuries all year.
Because Connaughton sucked. Bobby Portis, when he got put back in the bench, sucked. And Wesley Matthews, although he tried to hit some big threes, wasn't that good either.
Yeah, the bench did not perform well in this series. They didn't. And I would like to point out something. It's funny because I believe, not recording, but me and you have conversations about this, like in the middle of the season, and it was, in terms of shooting, Giannis kind of reverted back to his old self before he won the championship. And
they went back to happen.
Right. And it was something that's very noticeable in this series, was that he just couldn't knock down shots and he couldn't knock down free throws. Now, in that championship run, it always seemed like when he had to knock down the shot or when he had to knock down a free throw, he hit him. And it kind of felt like this was the new Giannis. It felt like this was who he was now. But in the series, it showed it again. He didn't play horrible. He just didn't play to what we expected him to be, up until the point where he was ducking the ball with the series on the line.
And he deserves a lot of flack for that. Again, he's supposed to be deemed the best player in the world. Not by everybody, but I say he's at bare minimum a top 3 player. Like he got to show the responsibility and he got to play better. It's that simple. Like I understand he was hurt the first 3 games, but when you came back, you still lost 2 games and didn't win 1
in their own house.
Right, and blew a 16-point lead at that point because there was at one point, right? I think it was like 3 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, and game 5 where they were like 1 for 12 in that game.
It's inexcusable. Those reasons is why I give that Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler full credit for the series win, because you just can't lose that, man. Not in your home floor. Not in your home floor.
No, you cannot. But
nightmare ending for Milwaukee, man. Nightmare
ending for Milwaukee. But congratulations to them. They're the ones moving on to the second round, and this will set up who they play this time, and that will be the New York Knicks, who absolutely dominated the Cavaliers, which I didn't see coming.
Yeah, I didn't see this domination coming at all. But
I had the Knicks winning the series. Let me make that clear. I picked them to win the series. I didn't think it was going to be this bad, though. Because even in Game 5, they looked like they had no fight left anymore.
That's
in Game 5.
What it looked like. It looked like the Cavs just gave up and they just faced a superior team who were just more hungry. It just felt like the Knicks were just more hungry than them. And there was aspects to this series that I just did not foresee coming. One of them was Mitchell Robinson just completely winning it out against those big men, especially Jared Allen. I just did not see this coming. Mitchell Robinson completely outplayed Jared Allen in terms of 50-50 balls, in terms of boxing out, and rebounds, and inside scoring. He just completely outplayed him. I did not see this coming at all. They pretty much won the series kind of without Julius Randle. They pretty much won it without him. I did not see Darius Garland he was horrible, man. He was horrible in this series. He only had one good game.
I don't think he was that bad, honestly.
I definitely think he was.
I think he was the better guard, honestly, between the two.
Really?
Yeah, I genuinely believe he was the better guard between the two. And, okay, before I get to the reason why, I think we're both in agreement of the bigs was to me the main reason why they lost the series.
That was the main reason, yes.
Yes,
that was the main
Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein were easily the two best bigs in this series. They completely outworked them, and they looked like they were just overwhelmed by that. That was 100% facts. We're good. We're like that. But I feel like at least Darius Garland had his playmaking to fall back on, while Donovan Mitchell was just shot chucking. Because in that Game 4, because I know Game 3 happened when Darius Garland really didn't know how to play basketball in that game. It was ridiculous. And Game 4 started off slow. Actually played really well in that second half. Darius Garland in that Game 4, and what's the reason why they cut to 1. But Donovan Mitchell did go over 10 in that second half.
He had the 2-point second half. Yeah, he did. That is unbelievable. That is I'll say this. I'm not for a second saying praising Donovan Mitchell anyway. He was horrible too. He was horrible. Yeah.
I know what you're saying, and I think Darius Garland wasn't the greatest either, but I do think he was okay-ish. He could have been a lot better, and he should have been a lot better. But because as bad of a defender that he is, he needs to be better on the offensive side of the ball to justify it.
Right.
Like, you know, it's bad when one of your better players was Caris LeVert, and I can make the argument he probably was your best player in the series.
You can make the argument he was, which is sad. I mean, that is very sad that you can make the argument that Caris LeVert was the best player in this series. Jetty Osman was horrible. It just felt like he was chucking bricks every time he came in. I mean, Evan Mobley just was not who he was supposed to be in this series. He was a big disappointment as well. But I get those guards' inconsistencies. I just didn't see it coming up being to this magnitude. Also, another thing I did not see to close out the series in the last 2 games was a RJ Barrett sighting. Did not see that coming at all.
I thought they okay. Not that it's good. He actually played great. He was easy. I won't say easy to take the best player because Mitchell Robinson's a thing, and Mitchell Robinson there's a lot of credit, but he was really good.
He was really good.
And you can make the argument that Julius Randle being bad and him getting benched in that 4th quarter opened that up for him.
That's a fair point. Now, it's interesting. What if this is a norm going forward in the playoffs for the New York Knicks? I feel like they're title contenders if they can depend on RJ Barrett.
So you're saying, so essentially what you're saying is Brunson does what he does because, great player, one of the best players ever. Not I really don't mean. RJ Barrett plays actual consistent basketball and be as good as he was in that Cavaliers series. No Randle and
Mitchell Robinson dominates that paint.
Are the title contenders? I'll say so, yeah. And this was how playing great too.
Right. I would feel like this is a contending team. because I mean they impressed me. They this team impressed me a lot in this series, and I can't wait for this series because they had really good games in the season against Miami. Their games were good, so I can't wait for this series and everything. The mind tells me the Knicks should win, but then like the heart tells me that the best player in the series is Jimmy Butler, and he's probably going to overwhelm them.
No, I can see both things happening, honestly. My pick is Knicks go to the Eastern Conference Finals and 6. I think they beat the Heat in 6 games. But I could see a world where they Heat just get done. Especially if they're playing like that, they're a significantly better team when it happens.
Right. Yeah, I got Knicks in 7, but ultimately we both got the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, which is crazy. That sentence is insane. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait for it. It starts Sunday at 1:00. It is going to be an amazing series.
It is. Now, real quick, 20-second intermission. I can start real quick.
All right, cool. But yeah, this series was crazy. I just can't believe Jimmy Butler, man. I've always thought he was a superstar in this league, especially what he did. You know what he did back in Minnesota. They were in a playoff drought, and he comes in there. He makes them a playoff team, right? I think they missed the playoffs for 15 straight years before he got there. Then he's in Philly. They went to 7 with the eventual champions, the Toronto Raptors. He goes to Miami. They make the finals. Last year, they were a shot away from another finals. This year, he beats the number 1 seed, who everyone thought could be eventual champions. Now he's in the second round. He has a chance to make another Eastern Conference Finals. That will be 2 straight Eastern Conference Finals appearances. And so, yeah.
You talking about the legendary Jimmy Butler?
Yeah. But moving on, you want to talk about Boston?
No, talk about Philly first, quick.
Philly. Okay.
Because last time we talked about it was too well going back to Brooklyn.
It was.
The series was frustrating. It was frustrating to watch.
It was.
They played great defensively, the Brooklyn Nets. They played actually very well defensively. They just couldn't hit any shots.
Yeah, they could not. I mean, it was frustrating. I'm not even a Nets fan, and it was frustrating to watch for them because it felt like a team that was coached to their best ability, that had the blueprint to win, but they just couldn't execute it. I don't know if there was anything different that they could have done. I mean, defensively and offensively, in terms of creating openings, I felt like they did the best that they could. Those shots just weren't falling, man.
Well, I'm gonna say this. How many times did the Brooklyn Nets scored 100 points in this series? Once?
Yeah, I believe it was one time.
It was just I think it was just game 1. I think that was the only time that they scored more than 100 points. Every other game, they would hold Philly to either barely to 100 or less than 100. They were holding to that, played great defensively, but they just couldn't score.
Yeah,
Cam Johnson
very tough. Mm-hmm.
And Embiid will miss the first few games of the series against the Celtics. Spoiler, that's what they're playing. And yeah, it's not good. It's not.
Yeah, that is not good at all. I mean, the only thing I'll say is that it felt the Boston doesn't look like who they were last year, especially with the series that they just had. So, I mean, history tells me that Joel Embiid never beats Boston. That Philly team, they just don't beat them. They just don't beat them. So, I think it's safe to say that we're both rolling with Boston here.
Yeah, right? Celtics in 5.
Yeah, I'm probably going to pick Celtics in 5. If Joel Embiid was probably fully healthy, I'll probably say 6 maybe. But since he's going to be out, I don't know when he's coming back. I'm gonna say Celtics in 5, but the Celtics do look very vulnerable.
It's crazy too because I feel like the Eastern Conference right now of who makes it is pretty wide open right now. I think it's kind of safe to say that.
It is very wide open. I can see scenarios where Boston makes it. I can see scenarios where Philly makes it. New York, Miami. I can see them all. I think that's all the teams, right?
Yeah, that's all the teams. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see scenarios where they all make the finals. But as deeper as this goes, I feel like this is a Western Conference year.
Probably.
That's what it kind of feels like. As deeper as the more this playoffs progress.
Last series in the Eastern Conference, let's finally talk about it. The Celtics and the Hawks. The last time we talked about this, we thought the Hawks looked like about to get swept. 2-0. I'm about to say they're down 2-0, and those two games looked bad. But they fought. They scratched, they clawed, but Boston, they just played better. I was gunning them at that point. But credit to them. Credit to the Hawks. I'll give them that. They played well this series.
Yeah, this was after game 2, this became a very entertaining series to watch. And I mean, Bogdanovich was amazing. Trae Young started playing good. DeJounte Murray played pretty good too. I couldn't believe where he got suspended for game 5, and then the Hawks came in the road and beat him.
I don't even know what he got suspended for. Like I know something with the official, but I didn't
He got like a little too disrespectful. It kind of looked like he was going to get in an altercation with an official after game 4. No, after game 5. It looked like, yeah. No, 4. Yes, 4. Yeah. After the game, he got a little too close. He got up in his face, and it looked like it was going to evolve into something else. So they suspended him for it.
Gotcha, okay.
But then they came on the road. It kind of showed me that you can go to Boston, and you can, Golden State could do it, but they're an exception. But you can go to Boston, the TD Garden, and you can grab a win there.
I will say this. The Knicks did beat them there twice this season when they played. I'm not saying the regular season is going to translate to the playoffs. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it did happen. Yeah, so hence why I was entertaining with the fact that if they played in the playoffs, would the Knicks beat them? Hence why I kept trying to entertain that. But we might get that. But
I'll tell you what, if they do play, it's going to be a tough series.
But the Celtics, man, is like they kind of look very unimpressive in this series. In this series, to me, Jaylen Brown was awesome per usual. Tatum was inconsistent per usual.
Exactly.
And it's Al Horford kind of looked old.
He did. I'm glad that you said that. I'm glad that you're not the only one that noticed that. I think he looked very old in terms of like the rebound battles and just winning out positioning. It just felt like he couldn't win it out. Now, I know Capella and Okongwu are very strong, centers, but still it kind of felt like he just couldn't win it out. If he wasn't really shooting a 3, he kind of really isn't doing anything.
Right. And honestly, and it's crazy because Trae Young started off slow, but as series went on, he started getting fits. John Collins, same thing, started off very slow, and that game 6, he played actually really good.
He did. He definitely did, and I wouldn't be surprised, I just wouldn't be surprised if Tyrese Maxey gives him that kind of trouble. I mean,
right.
Trae Young, DeJounte Murray looked pretty good against them as well. He had a bad game 6.
Yeah, game 6 he was bad.
Yeah, but he was fairly consistent for the whole series. He kind of did what he wanted against them. So they just seem to not be the defensive. I mean, we knew that, but it's playoff time, and I thought, maybe things would change. They were up a level, but they just don't have the defensive power that they had last year.
They don't.
They just don't.
It's not the same. I still think they'll beat the Sixers kind of easily because Joel's not there, even though I feel like they would have anyway. And
I feel like they would have anyway too.
I'm about to say, and 2, it doesn't help when the Sixers have no type of depth at all.
They don't. They definitely don't.
So you're essentially who's going to be the starting center? What was it in that game 4? Was it Paul Reed?
It was Paul Reed. Yes.
I like as a rotational guy. I kind of do like on B-Ball Paul, but he's getting playoff minutes here.
Big time playoff minutes. This is just the wrong team to beat Boston. It's just what it is. That's what it is.
No, it's a bad matchup. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a bad matchup.
Also, they suck, but that's another conversation for another day.
That too. But yeah, I'll give credit to Atlanta. What's frustrating is this is what this team should have been. You know, if they play like this in the season, maybe things would have been different. They would have been higher in the seeding. Maybe their fate would have been different. But, you know.
No, it's one of those things that you got to proceed with. Like, you're cautiously optimistic if you're a Hawks fan going into next season because you've seen things that I think warrant you, okay, this might work out.
Yeah, maybe it's a kind of 2-year project kind of thing.
Because at the end of the day, they did get a whole new coach that they signed late in the year. So because it's not just gonna like automatically snap a finger work out. Even though watching them play in the regular season was pretty nauseating, but
it looked horrible.
But it'll take some time. We'll see how they look next year.
Right. I guess the message will be is like if I was a Boston fan, I would be very concerned from what I've seen from this series.
Right, crazy. You might still make the finals because it felt like your biggest threat is gone, but still, you like the team that you didn't have to play in the play-in just because they lost the first game, you might have to play them anyway in the East Conference Finals.
Yeah,
and then you got a team that I was gonna say, and you also played a team that if you do beat Philly, that another team that you got to play is a team that played very well against you in the regular season, and you look worse then than you do now. So it was worse now than you do then, rather.
Right. I think they're gonna have trouble no matter who they play in the conference finals. If this was last year's team, they would have steamrolled this conference.
Yeah, easily.
They would have steamrolled them, but it kind of feels like a different Boston team. So they're probably gonna have trouble in the conference finals no matter what. It sucks that Miami and the Knicks are gonna duke it out against each other and they're gonna come out with a war while Boston is going to just have like an easy, kind of smooth series against Philly.
Well, they should rather.
They should. Yeah, they should.
Well, if anything that I learned is that too much things haven't happened in the series. I mean, this playoff so far.
Way too much.
But that's it with the East. Going on to the West. Nuggets and Timberwolves. This went how you'd expect, honestly.
Pretty much.
Denver's great offensively. Minnesota will scratch and claw. They will annoy you, but at the end of the day, they're just not good enough to get the job done.
Yeah, this just felt like one team kind of trying their absolute best, going against another team that just has too much firepower. Just way too much firepower, and there's nothing they could do about it. I mean, I've seen games where Michael Porter destroyed them, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, let alone Nikola Jokic. I seen Bruce Brown give him hell. I mean,
Jeff Green
he's a great player, but yeah, exactly. Jeff Green. They just had so many options to execute their offense, and it just overwhelmed the Timberwolves. I'll give them credit, like you said, they clawed their way. You know, it was 5, but it wasn't a bad 5. You know, like they gave him hell for the last 2 games, so I'll give them that, but. I mean, we all saw this coming.
Like you saw this coming. And the problem is with the Timberwolves is it's not okay, let's see where we can get better. You can't. That's the problem. You're locked in this team because you traded everything for a center that was worse than the one you drafted and Walker Kessler. So they are screwed and they're going to have to trade Cab because at this point, he has to be one of the stupidest players I've seen on the defensive side of the ball. Talented as hell, but oh my goodness, there's so many things wrong on that end. Dumb fouls on a continuous basis. I'm just looking like, what are you doing, my brother?
Yeah, he's just not locked in on defense. He is horrible. And they got to come to a point where this team just has to be solely Anthony Edwards' team. So you got to move on from Cat and just, revolve everything around Anthony Edwards, because if there's any kind of light is that this is going to be a future superstar in this league. You can see it. He's going to be amazing. but that's about it. I mean, they got no picks. Like, I don't even know how you construct a team around Anthony Edwards when you really don't got nothing to work with.
Honestly, it's ridiculous, to be honest, and it's sad too because it's like they got another, like, at bare minimum all-star caliber player. Because at him, Cat, Kevin Love, Garnett, like players like that, like they found these players, but they always do something stupid that makes it impossible for you to get past the first round with them.
Except for Garnett, yeah. The cycle continues with Minnesota, man. Things don't look bright. I mean, things don't look bright. And Denver, they really just took the season off. They were waiting to go to war in the playoffs.
They were. It's funny, too, because it's like, and for the Timberwolves to say that things, it's just like, what this is what you lose. Get used to this. You're not getting past the first round. Like, this is going to continue to happen. You'll probably be a playing team, maybe a 6 seed, be the 7 and 8 consistently, and get smacked up in the first round because you can't get the personnel good enough to make this team work because of that trade.
The new norm in Minnesota, definitely.
Right. Which, I don't know if you take this over what you had before of complete trash every single time. I don't know which one you'll take.
In a way, this kind of new norm, you kind of locked in purgatory kind of thing, it was just worse in a way.
The Portland?
Yeah, the Portland, the Indiana. You know?
Right.
Like,
well, yeah, they finally broke out of it.
Yeah, they finally, but it's just like, again, every year, like you said, play in or 6 seed, get bumped every year. Top 3 seeds in the West is always going to be monsters, always, from this point forward. So,
yeah,
with that, what they will.
Yeah, not much more I got to say. Not much more I got to say about Denver. They're a great team, and they'll get back for 2 years ago against the Phoenix Suns, and for once, their team is fully healthy, pending the team is fully healthy. So, we'll see what happens. Next up, speaking of Phoenix, the Clipper series, and this annoyed me in so many levels. This series annoyed me so many different levels. For starters, I'm going to start with DeAndre Ayton. I can't watch the man play basketball. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
He makes me like he get worse every year, man.
He makes me want to act up every single time I watch him play. It's that bad. He's frustrating. It's ridiculous to the point that I think it was game 4 where Devin Booker was cursing him out on courtside because I feel like Devin Booker's frustrated with him at this point.
Yeah, I seen some possessions where KD is like clapping his hands like, yo, come on, man, let's go.
Bro, they were the Clippers I think since game 3 onwards were running lineups when players like Westbrook was their center and he couldn't do anything about it.
He really couldn't, and I seen multiple plays where Plumlee got the better of him. This is just a player. I mean, he has horrible tendencies. He doesn't crash boards. He settles for a lot of like jumpers. I mean,
which he can hit, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Which he can't hit, but
he can. But if they're not balling,
go to the paint. You're big. You're strong. You don't play like it, but you're strong. Go in there. Get to the line. Show some free throws. Like, it's not that hard. People wish. Imagine a band with that body.
He'll be MVP caliber player.
Right. So it's like, it's ridiculous with him, bro. Like,
and I'm watching him play, and I'm watching the series, it's crazy because it technically was a pretty good series. It just always came to a point where the Clippers just didn't have a guy. That's literally what happened every time. And I watched the series and I'm contemplating, how in the world is Ayton going to compete against Jokic? Against Jokic with healthy teammates. I just can't. He's going to get killed. He's going to get destroyed.
And this is why I don't want to say criticize the Durant trade, but this is going to be the one question I asked. Who's your next guy? Who's going to be off the bench? Because you got Booker and Durant playing at 44 minutes a game. Because they have to. They have to put up like 40 because they have to. Not by choice, because they have to. Or else like if Durant and Booker wasn't playing this many minutes, they would have lost a few of these Clippers.
Yeah, that's why they had it was what? It was a 5-game series, but it was a competitive 5. It was a 5 where it low key could have got reversed. And it's because when you play in a team like the Clippers who has depth, yeah, they didn't have Paul George and Kawhi, but they had depth and they made this series competitive where Devin Booker got to score average almost like 50 points a game for them to win this series. And you playing a Denver team who has depth, that's their greatest strength. It seems like they got options left and right. A player like Bruce Brown, I wouldn't be surprised he has games where he got like a good 25 points just because of their lack of depth.
No, players like in that series when they play, players like Jeff Green, Bruce Brown, KCP, those long win defending type players, they're gonna annoy them.
Yeah, and Suns fans, you better be ready because Devin Booker, he's not doing that again. He's gonna face traps. He's gonna face multiple bodies. He's gonna, he's a great player, but I mean, I don't really see him going averaging, scoring 45, scoring 50 points, and doing what he wanted against a Clippers team. Now, this is a Denver team who has bodies, who has wing defenders, who has multiple options on defense. I can see Devin Booker having a lot of trouble against this team.
I can say it too. I think he'll be fine because Grace Gore find ways, but he ain't gonna be just dropping 40 up and down, which is what they need, though. That's the crazy part. And I'm willing to say you're fine with Durant getting that much.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that.
If you're the Nuggets, Durant dropped 35. All right, cool. But I feel like if Booker's the one going off, you have a problem.
Yeah, because
you have a problem here.
His hot is like a kind of like a clay hot, where it's kind of like it feels game breaker-ish. It feels like it's game over if he's hot. That's what it feels like. So I would definitely deal with Durant more so than Devin Booker because when he's hot, he's running all over the court, doing everything. Like it's insane when he's hot.
And it's crazy too because Chris Paul at this moment of his career, he just looks useless.
He closed out some games in this Clipper series, but
he did. But is that something you want to rely on?
No. Not against a team like Denver. Not against a team like Denver.
You can argue he don't want to rely on that back when he was a top 3 point guard in the league. Let alone now.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's obvious to show everyone that I think we're gonna have Denver winning the series.
The reason why I'm gonna give the Suns 2 games is because they have two of the best scores in the league. It's not familiar with Durant. So
I got Denver in 6 as well, and for the same reasons that you just said.
So they gotta have the games where they're gonna do their thing, but Ainge's lack of aggression, Chris Paul being old, and the fact that you got to rely on players like Torrey Craig, who played all right in that first series. Don't get me wrong. Players like Torrey Craig, players like Josh Okogie, players like Terrence Ross, players like Damian Lee, players like Campaigns. Like, really? Is that what you want to rely on?
Right, and I will argue, Craig did what he had to. But he's not gonna get those same kind of looks where they were pretty much picking apart Zubac. They're pretty much picking him apart, right? For some reason, I don't know why, but that just doesn't really happen with Jokic. He holds his right. Like he kind of like holds his own, right? Like I'm not trying to say he's a good defender, but it kind of feels like he kind of like holds his own for some reason. Like I guess he just knows how to use his body. But a player like Torrey Craig, like he's not gonna, like he's gonna be on a lot. I wouldn't be surprised he's a non-factor, man.
I wouldn't be surprised either. And what sucks for them is if he ain't in foul trouble or he's like not playing well, who are you gonna go to? Bismack? Jock Landale? If that's what you're gonna go to.
I seen Mason Plumlee dominate Bismack Biyombo. Dominate him.
Like, this is one of the things that you like. They wish they got a Thomas Bryant.
They could have used him just off the size, just off the options that he has as a shooter. Another problem is I wouldn't be surprised if I'm gonna really pay attention to this series is the rebound difference. Because I feel like Denver's gonna out-rebound the Suns at a scary rate.
Yeah, because they can't rebound.
Right, because it's not just Jokic. It's Aaron Gordon. It's Michael Porter. Even in some cases, it's Jamal Murray, man. Like, it just feels like in terms of the rebound battle, I wouldn't be surprised. Denver is living off second chance points in this series, man.
It's possible, yeah.
So I just can't see Phoenix win this. I just can't see it.
Can't see either. Like, there's a world where it happens, but I don't think it. I don't think it does.
I don't think it does either. I think Denver takes this. They take it as a 6. I could see a world where it goes 5, but I'll say Denver in 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Nuggets 6.
Mm-hmm.
Next series, the 36 of the West, Kings and Warriors, the best series on the playoffs so far, and again, the next 3 games, 3, 4, 5, all delivered. Well, 3 was a blowout, but 4 and 5, especially Game 4. Like, Game 4, I felt like had everything. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Game 4 was fantastic, man. This series,
like,
this was a blessing as a basketball fan. If you're a basketball fan, man, and if you're not a fan of either team, again, because if you're a fan of one of the teams, then like your heart is racing every game. But as a basketball fan, this is what it's all about, man. This series gave us everything. It's just so competitive. It's 2 teams that really want to beat each other. You got a team at Golden State. This kind of went exactly how me and Alex predicted it would. They won those 2 games. This is just a championship pedigree. This is who Golden State is. This is who they always been. I've seen it. We've seen it so many times. They were down 0-2. They made the necessary adjustments. They took care of home court. They went back in the road, and they did what they had to do. The first team to win the road game was going to win this series. I don't see Sacramento coming into Golden State. I'm not saying it's impossible because game 4 did happen, but I think Golden State got him. I think they got him.
It's crazy though, because like that Game 4, like that's gonna be the series they look back on, and they're gonna be kicking themselves for that one. That was a bad one that they dropped, because they were always like in the game. Like, it was like every single time Golden State was about to pull away, they kept chipping away the lead. And hell, even the time where it felt like it was insurmountable when they're down by 5, Steph Curry pulled a stupid call timeout, did the Chris Webber, they shot the technical free throw, and then Fox hits a cold-blooded 3 in Draymond Green's face.
Yeah, that shot just showed like this is why he's missed the 4th quarter. This is why he got that award. He's like, just a monster in the 4th.
And it's crazy too because he did that with a broken finger.
Yeah, he did. He did do that with a broken finger.
He did that in his face with a broken finger. That's impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I think Game 4 was the series. Like that was it. That was it.
Slight coaching mishap at the end, but Mike Brown, which it's crazy to go prove costly, but it's one thing. But Harrison Barnes should not have been playing down the stretch. And that 4th game, he showed why Golden State traded him after they lost to Cleveland in that finals. He showed exactly why.
I was screaming after that game. I was screaming that. I was like, "This is why they traded you. This is why they traded you. You sold your team." He had the worst final minute of basketball I've ever seen, man. He completely sold his team. And my thing is like, in that situation, if I'm Sacramento, I'm living and dying with De'Aaron Fox or Malik Monk in a kind of last shot situation. I'm not giving the ball to anyone else, man. I don't know, let alone Harrison Barnes. Like, come on, man. Seriously?
It's great, but that's what the Warriors wanted, though. Because I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna die on this hill. If De'Aaron Fox pulls up a shot in those close seconds, Sacramento would have won this game. Like, I felt like where he put was gonna win.
That's how it seemed. It just seemed like in the 4th, he keeps hitting. And yeah, Golden State credits. I also like to point out, I think Steve Kerr said this. Steve Kerr did not inform the players that they didn't have no timeouts left. So that's actually on Steve Kerr.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Steve Kerr said it himself. He said that was on him. He messed that up, and he almost costed them the game. So yeah. So Steph Curry thought they had a timeout because Steve Kerr didn't tell him anything, and he called it. So there's that, and yeah, I mean, Sacramento, they had an amazing season, man. They had an amazing season. Like, win or lose, they were an amazing team, and they were probably the most fun team to watch this year.
Right.
So, if they go down tonight, they could leave with their heads held high, but they will focus on that bad adjustment.
That game 4, and then hell, even game 5, even like there wasn't really anything pinpoint. I feel like Sacramento did wrong in that game 5. Actually, from my recollection, I don't think there's anything like a pinpoint that they did wrong. It's just Draymond dropped 20.
That happens, you losing, man. Like,
you got him, Clay, Wiggins, and Curry all drop 20.
Yeah. If Draymond's dropping 21 points, making one leg middies, you're going to lose. He was playing like dirt. I mean, it's not much you could do about that. Worrying about him being if Draymond's an offensive threat and those guys are on, there's nothing you could do. They become an unstoppable basketball team. There's nothing you could do. Like, so, I mean, they have a tall mountain to climb tonight. They have a tall mountain to climb tonight, but I don't think Golden State is this is the best home team in the NBA.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's insurmountable, but yeah, I don't think they get this done.
Yeah, I just think it's a complete momentum shift. Taking that game in their home court, I just think they're finished, man. I just think they're done.
Credit to them, though. Credit to them. They fought. They had a 2-0 lead, but young adjustment, like young mistakes. That's essentially what could almost chalk this up to. A team that was young and they made a lot of young mistakes. But it's all right. You take this, you learn from it, you come back stronger next year. It's one of those type of situations. You just play the defending champion.
Right. The good thing is that they're young, so they can be back.
Right. Exactly. And shout out to Mike Brown though. He coached a hell of a season. Even a hell of a series. I thought he coached a pretty good series. It's just Steve Kerr knows what he does. He was under, like he was above him for a reason.
Exactly. Yeah, but this series was a classic. It really was.
It was. And last, but certainly not least, you got the Memphis Grizzlies down 3-2 to the Los Angeles Lakers, and series is like for the outside looking at it, it's hilarious, but honestly, on both sides, I can see why it's very frustrating.
Oh my goodness, I can definitely see that too.
It's crazy because there's one person I want to talk about. You know, the man, the hour, the man who will be ducking medium when they lose, but talking crazy, talking him about his breakout game today, Mr. Dillon Brooks. I brought this to Raul's attention, right? Because I heard this and I forgot this happened, and I'm like, oh yeah, this happened. Do y'all remember in that first round against the Jazz 2 years ago where he was averaging 26 points per game and shot 50% from the field and 40% from three? Did y'all remember when that happened?
When Alex told me this, I was in disbelief. I'm like, who? Dillon Brooks did that? Like, what happened to him?
I heard, I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. Yeah, we thought he arrived. And this year, he was scared to show. Like, and it's crazy because it's like he said, "I poke bears." He said, "I poke bears." He can't drop 40 on me. Game 3, they were down by 30 at the end of the first quarter. Ja Morant tried.
He did,
but it was in vain. Game 4, which was their best game in the series, aside from Game 5, because I was at the last stand. But Game 4, they played great. But you shot like garbage, and it's like what Shaq said. 2020, that's 40. That's what one guy in that game.
He did. I don't know why he did. He should know by now. You don't poke the greats, the truly greats. So that's your LeBrons, that's your Steph Currys. Don't test them, man. Don't test them. They're gonna always get the better of you, bro. They've been doing this for too damn long.
This is with LeBron shooting like absolute garbage for 3, by the way.
Exactly. But I think he's shooting like 63% from the field when Dillon Brooks is his defender.
Oh no, he's cooking him.
Yeah, something like that. But Come on, man. And he had that game-winning bucket right on you. That dagger layup, he had it right on you for everyone to see in the crypt. And I was so sure they were going to win game 5, like exactly like you said. It was their last stand. It's their last game in front of their fans. I was not worried about that game, but this is it right here. And Desmond Bain declared a win tonight, by the way.
Yeah, they guaranteed a win tonight. Which I'll say this in his defense. What are you supposed to say?
No, of course. But I would say more the lines of, we're going to try to make the necessary adjustments, and we're going to go out there and we're going to try to force a game 7. Not, we're going to win.
No, I get what you're saying.
Like, it just, when he said it, it just made me feel like typical. Because he's probably like low-key the best player for the team in the series, scoring all these points, having 35-point games or something like that. And it just goes to show what the personality of this team is. Just they just think they're all that.
No, they think they're all that, but when it comes down to it, when adversity hits, they can't do anything about it.
Yep. So
game 5, I'll give them that, like, because it looked like the Lakers was knocking on the door the whole entire time. The Lakers kept it close for most of this game, and then the last 2 minutes of that quarter happened. The third quarter happened when they went on a 19-2 run to end it, and it just blew up from there. But
exactly.
But honestly speaking, this is the same team, right? That when they played Golden State in Game 5, when they were down 3-1, they beat them by 50. They lost Game 6.
Exactly right. And I just from seeing Game 3 and Game 4, the crypt, I think going forward is going to be a very hard place to win at. I think it's going to be a very hard place to win at. Those fans are loud. They haven't had a playoff game in so long. Remember, Lakers won championship, but it was in the bubble. They had no fans. So this team just really haven't experienced pretty much since like Kobe.
No, it is since Kobe because there was no fans anyways when we play Phoenix.
Right. So this is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime kind of experience, and it feels like this Lakers team is feeding off of this energy from the fans, especially like Austin Reeves, for example. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to see. This is a test for both. I would say this is a test for both teams. This is a test for the Lakers, and this is a test for the Grizzlies.
Right, because the Lakers, I haven't been the biggest fan of how they close out games in this series. I'm not going to lie, I haven't been the biggest fan of it. Game 1 to close out great, and game 4 just gave me a heart attack the whole entire time. That game took years off my life.
It did.
But game 3, and I feel like it was more so good to play comfortably more than anything else.
You talking about during the comeback?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was comfort.
And game 2 as well, they had a chance to steal it, but I just felt like they didn't play well in that one either. I've seen the mix of both.
Right. Yeah, game 2 was probably like, I was definitely more upset in game 2 compared to game 5.
Yeah, no, game 5 wasn't upset at all. I was like, oh, all right, whatever. All right, we'll be John Friday. But it's on AD. I'm gonna say this right now. It's on AD because he's been highly inconsistent this series. Game 1, he's been great. He was great. Game 2, absolute garbage. Even though I'll say this right now, he was great the whole game. Game 3, he was great. Game 4, worst game I could see in the season by far. But play 1 overtime, and Lakers survived a bad game from AD. And game 5 looked really good, but LeBron was absolutely awful in that game 5.
They haven't had them two in the playoffs so far haven't had a good game together.
It's probably the time.
Yeah, this might be the time. But I'm very confident Lakers close this out today, and we're gonna get that series against Golden State. We're gonna get LeBron versus Steph, maybe one last time.
Right.
Yeah.
So if that's the series, that's why I got 2. I think Lakers close out, and we get Warriors versus Lakers in the second round. Who do you have?
Oh my goodness. It's interesting because when these teams have played, even though you could take the regular season with a grain of salt, but it seems like the height difference bothers Golden State a lot when these two teams match up. But if the Lakers don't try to close the way that they have been in this series, they're going to lose, right? And Golden State side, if they have their role players such as like a Jordan Pools, if he gets cold and if Looney can't assert his dominance in terms of positioning, they're probably going to lose the series as well. But if I'm going to pick, I will pick Golden State in 7.
I can go to stay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Golden State.
Assuming the whole team doesn't lose a game in the series, I'm assuming that's how you think it'll play out. It'll be 2-2, 1-1. Like Golden State wins because they have home court advantage.
Yes. Yeah, I think because they have home court.
It's tricky. No, it did play rather. It's so tricky because it's one of those situations that it's like, okay, like they just took on the road all year, but this is their team now. They figured out their rotation, so they're only going to get better as the playoffs go on. That's the scary part with this Warriors team. I think the Lakers do match up well against them, though, even though AD does have a history of sucking against the Warriors. That is a thing,
right?
But the Lakers have the size to bother them.
That's like if the Lakers are going to win, it's the size. It's your Rui Hachimuras. It's not, it's not just AD. It's Rui. It's AD. It's Bron. Like, I think the Lakers will dominate the rebound battle here. Their key to win is to dominate that rebound battle. I'm picking Warriors at 7, but to be honest with you, I have no clue, bro. Like, I don't know. This is as kind of like as even as it gets here, so it's a tough series, man.
I'm going to go Lakers in 6 because I think if it goes to a Game 7, Golden State will win, even though LeBron is like the best Game 7 performer of all time. But I think if it goes to a Game 7, Golden State will win a Game 7 at Golden State, even though LeBron has won it there before, by the way, in the Game 7.
Oh my God, he has. You know what?
But
I'm making an audible, bro. I'm making an audible here, bro. I'm going Lakers at 7, bro. I'm picking the best Game 7 performer of all time, bro. I'm doing it.
It's crazy. I can see both things happening, honestly. And I'm not gonna say whoever wins the series comes out the West because that's just simply not true. Because Denver's also a thing. I do think they both beat Phoenix, though. I am very confident in that. I think both Golden State and the Lakers beat Phoenix. But
both teams, yes.
But both these teams beat Denver. I don't know. Honestly, we'll just see if that happens. We'll see the state of both teams. We'll see the state of both teams if that happens. Honestly,
right. So, and I think LeBron's gonna have an easier time driving to the paint in this series too.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's Steph and LeBron, bro. Like it's two players where it's like, how could you doubt them? But then, but they're playing each other, so it's like somebody has to win.
Exactly.
Yes. Like I'm gonna roll with my guy here. I'm gonna just roll my guys here, man. That's what I'm gonna do, man. I'm
gonna go Lakers in 6. But yeah, that's the first round. First round finally ends today. Probably. Sunday.
We're back. It will be the second round will be in play when we're back next week. So
yes, and you'll either see me in a great mood or in a horrible mood, depending on how the series goes. I'm assuming Lakers will win the series, but still, in case a 3-1 lead gets blown here, you're gonna see me very, very upset. But
yeah, it's gonna be a very energy will be low, but yeah.
No, it's gonna be high, but with anger. But anyways, that'll be all. Be sure to subscribe to Sports Dynasty and the Mafia Sports Report. Are you having fun in this playoffs? That's the question I want to ask you. Are you having fun in this playoffs? And for other sports, for the draft, did your team reach? Do you like your picks? I don't know. As Patriots fans, I love my pick. I'll say that much. Christian Gonzalez, welcome to New England, and yeah, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.